Well, greetings. Yes, greetings to the world out there, regardless of where you are. And you have touched down to us here at Bring It On Back Jams, and we have reached out to you from underneath the swaying of the palm trees, all on this Talk About It Tuesday. I'm your host tonight, Lady G. And without further ado, let's just get right on to our topic for tonight, as well as our title. And the reason why is because, again, when you look around and you see the things that are happening in the news, it makes you want to cringe. Because sometimes we are set in stone, or we sit amongst those who are stone-faced and don't feel that there's a resolution. And here's how we look at that. Consumption of self-empowerment at Bring It On Back Jam. And the reason why we chose consumption of self-empowerment is because, again, we're always waiting around on someone else to do what needs to be done. But here's what we want to let you know. Be that leader that demonstrates a mindset to conquer the landscape that always and also empowers others in the world through changing trajectories during this paradigm shift. Yes, a mouthful being said, and yet it's all within the context of what you see in today's society. We always say we play the best music on this side of the pond, and be that the case, under the fair use disclaimer, we know we don't own any copyrights to the copyrighted material. But under Section 107 of the United States Copyright Law, as noted by United States Copyright Office, the Copyright Act of 1976 allows us the fair use and has made it for the purposes of playing the music for criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. And we have thus chosen to extend it right on out to education as well as entertainment. Because yes, music is entertaining, but that takes a musician, and that musician has to have the skill within his own plethora of sciences within him or her in order to make that music sound the way that it does, but to make that instrument talk to us whom are the people listening all above. Yes, indeed. And so we take the first song out of the playlist, and that's Twilight, the instrumental version, so that you can hear what I'm saying. And that's by Maze and Frankie Beverly. And yet, with that being said, we go right on back to our topic. When we get to talking about be that leader, somebody has to be. And if you see the leadership in which it is that has paraded itself before you, aren't you concerned? So it demonstrates a mindset to conquer the landscape, and that's the world, and so can you if you put your mind to it. And so in the midst of that empowerment, you need to empower yourself and others all throughout the world, because the changing trajectories, and yes, those trajectories are doing this paradigm shift. And what are we talking about? Those trajectories can be on the basis of the pathways, which is open the door and don't allow anyone to open it for you. And if you're opening up that door, best believe you should be walking through it. In reference to your circles, people, places, and things, if they're stagnant for you, then change your sense of direction and your circle or the people within it. And when it comes to the areas of trajectory, think about your education, the motivators in the world, in your communities, in your families. Look at those that are in music and culture, health and wellness, healers, spiritual, knowing business, technology, and wherever it is that trajectory may be apparent when it comes to this particular paradigm shift. Because in reality, the consumption of self-empowerment is all about what you do and not what someone else does. And how you have to look at that is, what is 2023 going to be for you? Because I already know what it is for me. Changing the paradigm along this shift. We see you, Lady J, stepping in underneath the swaying of the palm trees. Take it you got my message today. Yes, indeed. And we want to say prayers up and out for Robert Dorsey, known for his contributions in the community, and yet, let's just keep him in your prayers. And as we take off, we're going to say, sway underneath the palm trees with me today, and I'm your host, Lady G, on this Talk About It Tuesday. And as we continue to start our evening off, you can check us out in between 9 to 11 p.m. in the Central Time Zone. Please tell your family, friends, and your community where you're hanging out. Yes, and all around the globe, we have the attention of close to 18,900 as we currently and closely approach what it is that we're doing around the world. And I say that because someone kindly offended me the other day, and I didn't take it too kindly with the offense, but yet with the look at how people doesn't respect, you understand? And when I say that, someone called me a DJ. Well, a DJ plays music, but you know what? We play music simply because of the fact that I love music and I am a musician. But however, the content that we give, you may not get all around the world, even if you flip your television on, and I don't care what model or what make. Here's what I'll tell you. It takes one like myself to be able to come from the grassroots and give you what it is that the others are not giving you. And that's information that you can take home, ponder, and yet hold at the water cooler. Meanwhile, let's continue to sway underneath these palm trees today, because a DJ is something that I'm not. I just love to play music, give people what it is that they need during this paradigm shift. And the reason why we play the music is because when you tune into a great deal of podcasts, they talk a lot. We do as well, but one thing that we do is we bring the substance to the people. Because once again, when you look at the landscape that we have actually prevailed for you all on the intents of just a visual, you want to come and sway underneath these palm trees each and every day, because either you love the music or the content of the people that we play with. And be that the case, we just want you to sway and do what it is that we do. Detox the mind, body, and soul each and every day. And yet we don't say that we're the cause in which it is that will bring some resolution to the world, but I know that we are actively a part thereof. Look at some of the shows in which it is that we have helped sell out with 19 Keys, Know Your Leisure, as well as some of the other shows in which it is that we know that we have actually announced and made precedent when it comes to the type of program that we provide. And no, I'm not a DJ. I'm a global podcaster that they call the Outcaster, and I don't mind. And the reason why is because we got the world at our ear. And if it's not real, people wouldn't continue to tune in each and every day, which we appreciate, because we have now considered ourselves, as we carry the title that one of our day ones gave us, which is Brand. She said we are considered the best centerpiece on the table. And I have no doubt, and neither do the other 18,900 people close to, believe in that too. So as we continue to do what we do, and that's actually bring a great time to the world, we just want to establish that we are the consumption of self-empowerment. Follow that lead. It's okay. It's no problem with us. Because one thing that we don't do is we don't give up. We see you, Weldon, tipping into the studio. Always swaying underneath the palm trees. And if you have missed an episode, you can always do a download. And we want to start our shouts out for those who have acknowledged us throughout the week. Yes, indeed. And although it's still early, we just want to show our acknowledgement thereof. Because we have to. Throughout this game, in which it is that we call global podcasting and not DJing, at such time and point, we have to look at who it is that is paying close attention all around the world. So we give that acknowledgement thereof. We want to send our shouts out to Grow Radio, Dr. Kia Pruitt and XRP, Vladimir, Don Salmon, Mary, Anybody Can Dunk a Podcast. That's Camellia, Wanda, Zion Law School, and that's all the way over in Vietnam. We want to thank those that are listening over in Nigeria and Kenya, India, Mexico, Thailand, and Australia, Ghana and Guam, and certainly Iran. And although you look at those in the Middle East, we want to thank you, and those that are listening from Dubai, as well as those that are listening from Saudi Arabia, even China, Russia, Poland, the Netherlands. We're all over the globe. And we greatly appreciate you all hanging out with us underneath the swaying of the palm trees as we continue to enlighten and empower the next generation. Yes, that's one for you, Lady J. We knew you wanted to sway underneath the palm trees today, and we would not do anything but acknowledge that fact.
Love has found its way in our hearts today, yeah. Love has found its way in our hearts today. nothing, nothing that can go wrong. When two hearts beat together, it's like an everlasting song. It's like an everlasting song. The moon shines bright over yonder, yeah, and it makes me feel so fine. I'm so thankful, baby, that Jah has made you mine. I'm so thankful that Jah has made you mine. 'Cause love has found its way in our hearts today. Love has found its way in our hearts, in our hearts today. Oh baby, please let me stay with you. This love is so hard to resist. Let me feel your loving kindness and all your tenderness. I said all your tenderness. Yeah. Oh lady, you made me so very happy. Even the dead man could see that the love can be so beautiful. Love that's meant to be. Oh, love that's meant to be. 'Cause love has found its way in our hearts today. Love has found its way in our hearts today. In our hearts today. Oh lady, you bring me up, you bring me up. Yeah. I never gonna let you slip through my fingers. No way, no. Oh, baby, let me stay in your mind. Love is so hard to resist. Emotion. Hey, brah, how you doing in Lagos? I'm sending you greetings from Jamaica. How is my girl from Casey? Oh yeah, Efusa, send you back to me. Rasta messenger, you're welcome. Oh yeah, Efusa, send you back to me. Rasta messenger, hey, no problem. Lagos jump, Lagos jumping. Lagos jump, Lagos jumping. Hanging out in Abba, just like hometown. Roast yam, palm wine only tonight. Then a beautiful girl from Caseta Ife. She was jamming in her bronze and her silver. She's doing her Lagos jump, Lagos jumping. Lagos because JAMS.
Yes, as we tap dance right on back up to this round table. Yes, we want to look at the consumption of self-empowerment. And here at Bring It On Back Jams, we feel that we have empowered a great deal of people all around the world because everyone is talking about some of the subjects that we name, mention, and yet keep ourselves in the game. All in the tone of what we live, which we call life. Yes, indeed. And so therefore we have to look at, don't mock the progress, yet uphold the results. And the results is what it is that we look at when we come into that Y equals V. And that's the paradigm shift, but it's also the formula for trajectories. Because if you're standing vertical and you know you're moving, then tell me why you're not moving for the next generation. Because again, we live life, still living it to the fullest. But on the same note, what do you think that they're doing? They're sitting back, observing, and wondering. Because eventually, that AI, in which it is that's taken over society, as it once did when machinery took over the world and eliminated man from his job. Yes, his hard-working job. Well, then AI is actually eliminating a lot of people from the workspace. And if you hadn't realized what I'm saying, then go back and look at how many people just got laid off their jobs when they got suckered in to the plate. And yet, AI is running the show. So with mankind walking around doing what they can do, then what do you think that you fit in? If you're not trying to do what? Consume a level of self-empowerment for yourself and for others. Because the leaders that we have today are demonstrating what they want us to see within them. But they're not a true representative in the mindset of all, in which it is that it takes to conquer the landscape and empower others throughout the world. We can change our own trajectory when it comes to education because our children are deeply being miseducated. Motivators, come on, where you at? Step up to the plate. Look at the music nowadays. Sometimes you want to just turn it off. Not saying anything about the music of today's time, but let me tell you, if it's not of my time, I can speak well on it. Because once again, if someone can, reduce me all the way down to a DJ, I'm proud because that means they like the music. But here's one thing they need to do: uplift and listen to what's being said, and it will elevate you to the next level of empowerment. When it comes to the culture, come on, we can break it out. We don't have to say that it's a costume when it is that you're wearing your authentic garb, because people, everyone and everywhere, all around the world, know about us. We just don't know about ourselves. And yet we still put ourselves in the category of talking about being black. Well, when you look at a chessboard, there's two forms of a color, either on the board or from the pieces. Now, who said white had to move first? That's not the objective of the game because it didn't come with any rules. But then again, when we get to look at that color, let's look at the moves. Melanation, everything comes away from it, all the way down to the reduction thereof. So we have to look at what it is that we're doing when it comes to culture. Represent. When it comes to health and the healing, the foods that we're intaking, all the chemtrails that have been sprayed. Don't you know that's soil that's actually been contaminated? And yet we look at the grocery stores as being our only means of food. Better drop some seeds in order to plant some weeds in order to make sure that you can eat this generation and the next. King for the Dome, we do see you stepping into the studio with us tonight. And we just going to keep on rolling as we sway underneath these palm trees today on our Talk About It Tuesday. And when you know business, people, don't be reluctant to not teach the next generation, because here's what they have programmed our children to do: sit up and play a game. Well, that game is good for the technology that it prevails. But when it's over, it's over. You got to come out, eat, breathe, and sleep. And a game can't pay for that. So we got to then in turns motivate. If not, use the consumption that we have within us in order to empower the next generation during this paradigm shift.
To be strong. If it wasn't for you, I just don't know where I would be. So tonight tonight I'm gonna celebrate your love for me. It's people like you that make the world go round. Oh, yes it is. It's people like you, oh yeah, that make the world go round. Make it go round and round and round. Whenever I was cold, you knew just how to keep me warm. You were my shelter in the middle of my storm. Whenever the mountains came crumbling down on me, and you were out of nowhere to lift me up and set me free. And whenever I thought that I could not go anymore, girl, you came into my life and you opened up more doors. And now I don't have to look no further when it comes to love. Cause girl, you are a gift sent down to me from above. And make the world go round. Hey, yeah. Oh, people like you, make the world go round. Oh, yes you do. These things so lucky. Someone truly real. Love should not be based on color. Girl, take my hand. And tonight we're gonna show the whole wide world just how to dance. Oh, I want to let it blow.
Y'all come on and sway with me underneath these palm trees today.
So hot. Now we're gonna step around the world tonight and step into the light. It goes a 1, 2, 3, here we go. Step, step, step to the side, step to the left, then step to the right. Step, step, step to the side, step all night, then step to the light. Step, step, step to the side, step to the left, then step to the right. Step, step, step to the side, step all night, then step to the light. Step, step, round and round, we get a step all night to the funky sound. Step, step, round and round, we get a step all night till the roof comes down. Step, step, round and round, we get a step all night to the funky sound. Step, step, round and round, we get a step all night till the roof comes down. Like you, make the world go round. Yeah. There's people like you, make the world go round. Oh, round and around we go, it's so someone truly real. Well, love should not be based on color. Oh, girl, just take my hand, and tonight we're gonna show the whole wide world just how to dance. Party people, if you want, yes we do. Keep the world going round and round. Say, sing it now. Oh, say what? I like that. Me too. One more time. DJ Cassidy, Kales. Come on, round and around we go. Come on, round and around we go. Come on now, round and around we go. Come on, round and around. Come on now. Good night, everybody, and get home safe.
And as we continue to thank all of our listeners out there, we want to thank you, MNPWDQDWW, for joining us tonight. We see you, Brian, stepping into the studio underneath the swaying of the palm trees, hanging out with your sister, Lady J, in the listening quarters today.
Beautiful, you are the only see what you wanna see. You mean so much more to me. You're the reason why I wake up every morning with the sun. So glad you show I appreciate the love of you. They know beautiful, you are the only see what you wanna see. You mean so much more to me. You're the reason why I wake up every morning with the sun. So glad you show I appreciate the love of you. There you go again, trying to win the hearts of those who humbled you. You work so hard for their acceptance, they don't seem to care, and you forget that I do. Someday I hope you'll understand. Those fools can't see how special you are inside, but I'm the one. I appreciate the things you do. Every little thing. I'm the one. Baby, I see. Yes, I do. Yes, I need so much more to me. You're the reason why. Every morning with us, I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. You know how beautiful you are. They only see what they want to see. So you need so much more to me. You're the reason why I wake up every morning with the sun. I'm so proud of you. I appreciate the love of you. Why spend so much time worried about what they think of you? Makes life impossible for you to enjoy so freely. No appreciation for your generosity, your kindness, your respect, your love. They only see us to let you down. But if you take a look around, you might find there is someone on your side. I was there all the time because I'm the one who adores you. I know about the sacrifices that I make you. Yes, I do. Baby, I see. I love you. You need so much more to me. You're the reason why I wake up every morning. Baby, I do. So I do. I appreciate the love of you. They know baby, I see. Don't you worry about it. No, reason why I love you. I see. Baby, I love who you are. You don't have to change. They don't worry. They only see so much more to me. The reason why I really sometimes baby, they don't know. Only wanna see what you wanna see. With the smile, so proud of
And we all need to realize that in the consumption of self-empowerment, tomorrow has to be created from what we do today, because everyone always speaks in terms of what they're going to do tomorrow on so and so and so and so. But if you never look at what it is that's been created today, then how can you think about tomorrow? Because today rolls over into tomorrow, but it also takes all of the things in which it is that you displace. And be that the case, we have to look at it. Freedom for all is the mind of many, because we fight the war in all other countries. But we don't realize that the biggest disturbance in this country, yes, the United States of America, and I have to say it, is leaving the next generation behind with no direction. Come on, the education system continue to miseducate all of the children that are sitting within. And when you look at it, tell me why it is that a test is one of the most precious things that they have to take when it is they can't pass the test in life. That's the real talk of the town. As we continue to uplift humanity, love and its familiarities are the description in which it is that we need to bring out of today going into tomorrow. Rico Rock, we see you joining us tonight here at Bring It On Back Jams, and we appreciate you truly for hanging out with us. We appreciate you and Bryn sharing the show, as well as all of those who are enjoying what it is that we do all around the globe. And be what it is. Yes, and we love you too, Rico Rock. And we want you to take acknowledgement because you're sitting in the high listening quarters with two of our day ones, and that's Lady J and Brand. And we see your poems. Will you come on in and actually hang out with the ladies and Rico Rock as good friends? Introduce yourselves because here at Bring It On Back Jams, we are doing the consumption of self-empowerment all the way around. People need to realize what it is that's going on in society. The banks are crashing, and I know we spoke about this in August of 2022. People thought we were tripping because we didn't know. They didn't think we knew what we were doing, but yet when you look at today's society, the same things that we spoke about is the crashing of the banks. And any time in which it is that you can get the bank in the valley to be bailed out, and then looking at another bank crashing, and all the banks merging together, just in case, hint, hint, you didn't know. Today is Talk About It Tuesday, so we're going to let it go, okay? We're going to then in turns bring it all the way out because you got another bank that then in turns has crashed, and now you have the merging as well as the conversation coming from the other banks that are basically saying, hey, let's get together and bail out our brother, our sister bank. But what about your cash? Because when it is that they don't meet the compliance of Basel 3 and 4, whose money do you think that they're taking? Yours is already invested. You put it in a savings and you put it in a checking. And yet, your money is being invested as soon as you make that deposit. And if that's the case, you invest your own funds. When you look around your community and you see what's going on, save the next generation, give them something to do, create some programs. It's not that hard. If we have skills, we then in turns need to teach the next generation how to survive in what is considered the world, life, because technology is actually overtaking mankind each and every day. And if they could replace us, believe me, they would. But one thing that they have to realize, we're not going without a fight. And that's the best war that you're going to have. AI versus mankind. It requires a skill. And the new skills that are required in regards to working in this world, that's the race. It's not the color, people. And that's what they want to keep you wrapped up on. The this and the that, the distractions throughout the world. Now, if you know Hollywood shut down, then you know there's not any movies being made. So where is that imagination coming from? What it is that they show you on a day-to-day. Yes, the news is full of foolishness, and yet they're not giving you any substance. But when you look at what it is that we're talking about all around the world, not just me, but all of us who are giving you that grassroots information, how can you doubt it? You can then in turns go back and do your own research, and when you do, you'll sway with us once again underneath the palm trees on our Talk About It Tuesday. And I agree with you. Rico Rock, he basically says people want to control people too much. Yes, indeed. And the mystic poet, philosophical mental giant, that's Podbean veteran, and he said he's free and powerful. We appreciate you, Rico Rock. Speak your truth, brother. Speak your truth. And when he talked about the drug is the elite, well, look at it. I mean, hey, you used to be able to just go down the street and go to the elder lady's house, tell her what your issue is, and at that point, she will then in turn have you to hold your hands out and give you some remnants of a remedy. Now we have to pay pharmaceuticals, and yes, I'm tapping on that door because we spend so much money going into the doctor's offices and yet coming out with more of a problem in which it is that we walked in with. And that's due to the medications that's being given and all the other services that they provide. Now, when we look at all of this, of course, we all need doctors at this particular time and point, but we also need to reach back and realize that there is some home remedies in which it is that we can still provide for ourselves. And that too, just the knowledge thereof is a part of the consumption of self-empowerment. Because again, when you can't get out the door, when that EBS takes its place, emergency broadcast system, because it's coming, some places will shut down for 3 to 5 days, and some in the larger cities will be 10. If you can't go out and get your groceries, you then in turns can't go out and get your fuel, you then in turns a shortage on food, what you gonna do? It's time to start empowering self in the consumption of what we see today. Because if not, then we are going to look at some detrimental situations. When you look at your communities, they're already regentrifying. People are selling the properties in which it is that they had no struggle for. They then in turns want just so that they can move up the road to the next state. But when you look at the states who then in turns have had the consumption of all things good, California, prime example. If you go north, you got a blizzard and you're snowed in from the rooftop down. And if you go south, well, should I say before you get to south, you're looking at all the floods in between. Monterey County, once where I used to live. At such time and point, you're looking at the destruction of families and crops, economic and finance. You're looking at the destruction of mankind as Mother Earth is saying to Father Time, enough is enough. And us who are sitting in the best seats in the house, we're quick to say it's not my problem, but truly it is. Because to me, if you're in this land of what we call humanity, it's our part to do what we have to do, and that's uplift humanity to the next level. It's your duty as well as mine. We see you, Lizzie White, stepping into the studio with us tonight and joining us all the way out. Sitting into the high listening quarters with Lady J, Rico Rock, and Brand. You all acquaint yourselves because once again, we are swaying underneath the palm trees. Yes, and I can say that we are better than Shakespeare at sometimes because, again, we're going to tell it like it is. Some people may not want to hear, but aren't you tired of listening to all of that foolishness? And when you turn on the television, the television, which is lying to your vision and making you think in an imaginary form, when in reality you can go out your front door and see some reality taking its course. But when you look at what it is that's being done, don't you have a voice with some form of consumption of empowerment? Because you are one, and although you may be one, you still have a voice, and that voice has to be heard. They want you to vote, don't they? But then again, you vote by standing in that line. What are you consuming? Time. And be that the case, your vote is only considered one. So you make a difference when it is that you become the empowerment and the consumption thereof for the next generation. We appreciate you, Lizzie Whites. Greeting our other guests, our other listeners, live. Let's just get that sway going underneath those palm trees. Get your libation in your hand. Put your feet in the sand. And believe me, we got you with everything else. Let's sway.
Every time I see you, I gotta stop to catch my breath, And girl, if I could be with you, I wouldn't want nobody else. I never had a woman just as bad as you. Bring me to my knees with the things you do. Oh, girl, you're so amazing. I should be your middle name. I was such a mess. You came and changed the game. If I had a dime, every time you blew my mind, you blew it. I would be a millionaire. 'Cause you do it all the time. Oh, and if the moon and the sun never showed his face, you can see it, you can have it. Oh, but it wouldn't matter to me. It really don't matter. 'Cause you're brighten up my day. Oh, girl, you're so amazing. Yes, you are. I should be your middle name. I wanna call you amazing. I was such a mess. But you came and changed the game. Oh yeah, girl, you're so amazing. I know that I should be your middle name. Girl, I was such a mess. But you came and changed the game.
Yes, Lizzie White has come in and changed the game. I'm trying to tell you. You and Rico Rock, Brand, and Lady J, y'all are changing the way people are seeing it from a whole different perspective. underneath the swaying of the palm trees. You all have become the day ones that we believe in. And when we say we believe in, meaning that you follow the conference thereof of what's being said. Because again, when you look at all the things that are going on in society, you can only blend in. There are things that need to be said that other people are just afraid to. But hey, let me tell you something. The truth will shed that light. I don't care if it is that you're swaying underneath the palm trees tonight. Come on, let that light shine on you. And we appreciate you, Lizzie White. Yes, we do. And we're going to show acknowledgement to YADOM. We appreciate you stepping into the studio with all the rest of our guests tonight and Bring It On Back Jams. Let's just bring a little bit of Jamaica sway underneath the palm trees today. Yes, we appreciate that love offering, Lizzie White, as you're hanging out with the rest of us tonight underneath the swaying of the palm trees. We appreciate you enjoying the show along with the rest of our audience out there, the global, that is, outside of the normal. We see you stepping into the studio with us tonight. Yes, we got a full house and we believe that we're saying the correct things. Because when you look at what it is, like I said, that's going on around the world, people are just at a, should I say, at dismay because they want the stone of truth. They don't want the stone thrown at the truth. And the reason why we can present it is because we stand on our square of truth and it's deliverance everywhere. and as we continue to encourage all of our listeners out there under the Bring It On Back JAMS community, which we consider family, let's just look at it like this here. Be that leader that demonstrates a mindset to conquer the landscape that also empowers others in the world through changing the trajectories during this paradigm shift. And when you look at what it is that I'm saying all together, well, we got that mindset to conquer, but we need some leaders to demonstrate. Because I was sitting in a meeting the other day and just heard, and I had to go back and re-listen to what it is that I heard, that there's another Brett Favre issue taking place right underneath our nose. Yes, and it's the shameful thing, only because they don't want it to be said. Well, Bring It On Back JAMS is the one that will bring it forth and actually prevail with the complaint on it. Simply because when you look at our communities and how they have become deprived of certain things, don't take advantage of, and don't look at what we think is gentrification when it is, it's just land being sold, taxed out, and apprehended from those generationals, either before or after. But when you look at a mass amount of land that is actually being paid for with funds that is actually meant for minorities, I can only see Brett Favre. Yes, I'm calling you out simply because I can. And DJs don't do that, but global podcasters will. And I pride myself on telling the truth based upon what it is that I see within the loop of the falsehood. And I just can't sit back and not acknowledge what I'm looking at. Because again, the paradigm shift is before us. And we need to empower the minds of the world and let them know that within the change of the things that we see before us, it's no joke. But who's going to do something about it? We all can't sit back and complain. So we have to do what? Step up to the plate and take war for the next generation. Because if they knew, you tell me, what are they going to do? You trust the next generation to actually uphold what it is that you have to do? Think about it. That next generation is living in our households. And if they don't want to take out the trash and pick up the clothes, now you tell me, what are they going to do? Yes, you got some thriving youngsters that's out there in that generation, and they're coming through in order to shake up this paradigm in which it is that we live in. But we have to look at the truth and what it's all about in today's time. It ain't cherry sweet.
without you. See, some things I simply cannot do without you. See, some things that I simply can't.
There's a global reset going on, world. And we are part of that universal law of oneness that can change it. And everything is connected. And that's correct, Lady J. We just gonna read it out for you. Lady J says we need to take the scales from our eyes in order to see what is before us, because we've been blind too long from the truth, and I will agree. Salute to you, Lady J. All right, people, let's take those scales off those eyes. Let's see the truth for what it lies behind and what's lying forward. And Lady J, I'm going to read it again. She says we need to take the scales from the eyes in order to see what is before us. And we need to have, we have been blind too long from the truth. And that is so true in a statement as you make it. Swaying underneath these palm trees because people just don't understand. There is some things going on. You then in turns keep looking at our dispute with China, but China is actually not the dispute that's with us, and we're not in dispute with it. Tell me if you can hold your hands and you got a current president, which then in turns has documents that is within his household, and they give them an opportunity to clean it up. But 45, they then in turns ran into Mar-a-Lago and said, look at here, what we gonna do is take everything. But what they fail to realize is that the world is watching. And if the world is watching, then you tell me about the discretion amongst. And I'm not speaking in terms of anything except for the politics that they put before us. We have to then in turn see what it is that's really going on behind the shadows. And understand, we are the pieces that's being played on the chessboard. And that's fifth dimension.
Give each other a chance to live. We might just fall in love. Picture us in a land where there's no more war. Shaking hands with love and respecting love. There's the hills, you can feel. Love is the key. All it takes is you and me. If I could make the world dance, oh, if I could make, and they would dance, something like this. If I could make the world groove, oh, if I could make them groove, and they would groove, something like this. If I could make the world sing, oh, if I could make them sing, something like this. If I could make the world love, one another feel, something like this. Tell me, why can't my whole people overcome when they've got the means to build bonds? Oh, we're so quick to say God bless America, but take away in God we trust. Tell me what the hell is wrong with us? If we just give each other a chance, we might just fall in love. Picture us in a land where there's no more shaking hands with love and respecting love. Offering dance that heals. You can feel love is the key. All it takes is you and me. If I could make the world dance, oh, if I could make, and they would dance, something like this. If I could make the world groove, oh, if I could make them groove, and they would groove, something like this. If I could make the world sing, oh, if I could make them sing, they would sing, something like this. Oh, if I could make the world show, make them love, oh, something like this. Happy people, baby. Come on,
Dance with me, mama. Dance with me, mama. Dance with me, mama. Come on, dance with me, mama. Dance with me, dance with me, mama. Dance with me, mama. Come on, dance with me, mama. Dance with me, mama. Dance with me, mama. Dance with me, mama. Dance with me, dance. There's got to be a place we can go, a place that we can go. So meet me at the spot that we used to go and just let the night away. Please let's rewind time and go back, cause I miss those days. I could make the world dance, all the time when they would dance. Something like this. If I could make the world, if I could make them move, they would do something like this. If I could make the world sing, just like this. If I could, I sure would. Never feel something like this. Oh, if I could make the world, 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 oh, if I could make the world, 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 if I
Chocolate Factory. If I could make the world dance, I truly would. Marvin Gaye inspired me to write that one, y'all. Just as Frankie Beverly inspired me to write Love Street. You know, every day's a special occasion, y'all. You know why? Because you woke up this morning. Happy people, baby.
Let's just come right on back up to the round table as we sway underneath these palm trees. And we're going to give you a little bit of a tidbit of information for you. Since people say I'm a DJ, let me put this global podcast knowledge and skill to the wheel. When you go back and look up, and I'm going to say it very loud and clear, GMEMI, utilities with an S.org. When you go to that particular organization and you type in your social security number with the dashes, you will see exactly how many companies have used your social security number and actually pulled from your trust. If you didn't know you had one, everybody does. That's why you got those birth certificates and those social security numbers with the red number on the back. Yeah, they don't want you to talk about it, but you know what? We here at Bring It On Back Jams, we love to sway underneath the palm trees and actually empower the globe. So I'll say it again. That's GMEMI, utilities.org. Put your social security number in there with the dashes and see how many companies are actually using, or not that have already used your social security number without your permission. There's a whole lot of corporations in rotation, and they're using your numbers, just in case you didn't know. And when you look at Executive Order 13968, it should tell you everything that you need to know, along with House Resolution 333. Yes, those are tidbits of information that you can only get underneath the swaying of the palm trees on our Talk About It Tuesday. And I'm your host tonight, Lady G. And we appreciate all of our listeners out there. That's ABBIAQJ. We appreciate you hanging out with us tonight here at Bring It On Back Jams underneath the swaying of the palm trees. Get you some knowledge, and that's Y equals V in the paradigm shift. And we appreciate you, Bo Lindstrom, for actually stepping into the studio with us tonight here at Bring It On Back Jams. Grab your libation, put it in your hand, put your feet in the sand, and sway with us underneath the palm trees because we got you with everything else. Be it conversation, information, affirmation, and call-ins, which is not today, but we got plenty in which it is we can talk about underneath the swaying of the palm trees. You can even take it out into your communities, family, friends, and hold a conversation at the water cooler again. Yes, indeed. Only and Bring It On Back Jam with the swaying of these palm trees. And I'm your host tonight, Lady G.
What do you know? This I did not expect. You just appeared when I wasn't looking, and you said it fast, giving my lipstick. Now it's turning into affection. I can't get the smile on my face. I'm there lighting up the whole place. What would you say if you knew all that's going on inside my head? Would you be scared away? I'm a little frightened to walk you this way without knowing where it's going. One thing's for sure, I can't get this smile on my face. Out there lighting up the whole place. It seems I've made a new choice. All I know is I can't wait to see
in the words of one of our true supporters, 19 Keys, who always has a high level conversation. And what 19 Keys says is that we all must face ourselves. That's the true judgment day. Stay high level. Because we look at today's time as people judging us. And does it really matter? Because if you can hold your own, then who are they to judge you when it is that something goes wrong? When they take that look in the mirror, there's a self-reflection, according to what Michael Jackson says. And if you're looking at the man or the person in the mirror and they're looking back at you with a true reflection, then be who you are and not who someone else wants you to be. Because in this rotation of what we call 2023, the world is real and you need to look at how you are going to consume your moments of self-empowerment. Only at Bring It On Back Jams.
Let Greenwald is
Traveling children, politicians sitting in church on Sunday, pondering how to raise taxes on Monday, finding someone you think is your angel, finding out trust is a fragile situation. The light you thought you had, the stars is hanging to see. These are the people you greet. Yeah, we greet one another. Oh, yes,
Yes, people, when we greet one another, we don't see color. We have to start looking at what it is that it takes in order for us to be in conjunction with one another, and that's mankind. Because under the umbrella of humanity, we're only one. And if we begin to work together, there's not a problem that we can't resolve. Of course, someone like you, they may not. It's okay. Because in the group of things today, we're not sitting around talking about it. We're making some differences as we touch the world with self-empowerment and through the trajectories in which it is that we prevail during this paradigm shift. And the trajectories are how we look at and what we utilize for education, entertainment, conversation, technology, healing, health. Not worried about politics because that particular corporation is dissolved. Go back and look at July the 4th of 2014. There's an executive letter that's on the scenes. See it for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it, because as a global podcaster, here's what we do. We bring the world, the news, the music, the sway, and all other type of things that can be of creative nature today. We then in turn put the sway in the trees so that you can feel the breeze as you come underneath the trajectory of Bring It On Back Jams. And we're not trying to do anything except for show you love, and that's all we can do. Because when you look at it from any other perspective, what are you going to do? We see you, Lady C. You have stepped into the studio with Lady J and Bren, two of our day ones. Well, Lady C has joined the group with you all, ladies. So we're just going to show out as we continue to do what? Highlight this international, this month, of women in around the globe on this international flow. Salute to all the women during this month of international progression, because every day is a day of progression for any woman who balances the world, their family, their community. And let me tell you, you can't set us down because we birth the universe to the earth. And greetings to you, Lady C. Let's raise that vibration and put it on a new line of frequency. We're going to uplift humanity one beat at a time. As women, we stand in the line to help birth the universe on this earth. It is our responsibility to see the next generation through. Yes, that's talking about me, and that's definitely talking about you. So let's do right by the next generation as they come through the line. They don't really know what's going on, so they got to have some leaders, not trailing behind. So what you gonna do? Be that leader that demonstrates the mindset to conquer the landscape and empower others in the world as we change through this paradigm shift. Let's sway. All right, ladies, let's get started. Let's walk our way right on through, grabbing hands for our youth and the next generation, and doing what we do. Don't leave anybody behind, because in the step and the pace, we got to manifest each and every day. Let's use the leverage that we have in this quantum energy that we prevail, because today is the true tell all. What we waiting on? This is 2023. We can't go back. We have to move forward. Can't you see? And let me tell you what we coming through with. We coming through with the higher insight of truth. The application of knowledge and the fruit of knowledge is found in the root of wisdom. And the potential from it is to know that from the work that we evolve ourselves in, we can only see the advancement from a natural perspective and intelligence. Be conscious in this world, because we got a whole generation that's looking out, and they want to know what we gonna do. So we grab them by the hand and teach them what it is that we know from the skill set, be it from the land, the books. And let me tell you something, people, it doesn't make any sense for our children not to be well educated when we have all these retired educators out here. If you care anything about the next generation, start some tutoring groups, because here's what we know. No child should be left behind, especially in this time, 2023. And I'm sure by now some of you have already checked out that website that I gave. So let me repeat it one more time, where it is that you can do your own investigative nature, where it is that you can see exactly how many corporations is using your social security number. Let's start out with GMEMI, utilities with an S.org. Put your social security number in with the dashes. And when you get there, you'll see how many corporations have been misusing and abusing your social security number. They won't tell you this on daily news because they don't want you to know. But here at Bring It On Back Jams, we figure if you're going to take the time to sway with us underneath the palm trees, we want to give you the knowledge in which it is that others just don't give. That particular Executive Order 13968 is dealing with the gold standard. Yes, the 9157 Gold Resolution Act. And when you get to talking about Nasara and Jasara and the Farmers Act, that's 5404. And when you look at the Farmers Act of 5404, then you'll know what Nasara and Jasara is. People want you to explain, but you got to do a little research once you've gotten that hint of information. So, under this umbrella of humanity, we have to keep doing what we do, educate and enhance the skill set of the next. Because when it is that our time is to sit down, what are we going to do? Because the next generation is looking at you and looking at me. And if they don't know what to do, and we are teaching them to go to college, and college is all that they know coming out of these high schools, then where's their skill set? Because seemingly, hell, when you go to McDonald's, you're being arrested just if you want to get your food correct. So, everybody can't work at the fast foods, and we got a lot of home jobs in which it is that's available. But when you look at being empowered with the consumption thereof, feel your freedom because you already have it. Pass it on to the next generation. Teach them something because someone taught you, be it the grandmother sitting on the porch step or those sitting on the stoop. We all have to learn from somebody, and it's always the latter generation, which is the older thereof, which teaches the youth. But if we give up on the youth, then what are we going to be when our time comes? For someone to watch out for us, because the concept is real, and all around the world, people are changing during this paradigm shift. This is the Great Awakening, people, in real time. And we have to stay awake because here's what I'm going to tell you. When you can look at a system like GP Chat, and if you just give it an idea and it writes out a full program for you, you tell me where mankind fits in that equation. Because when you get to a certain age and you grew up with pencil and piece of paper and going into the libraries to do your research, and we've now trailed back and said, oh, just ask Google. Someone had to program Google, and based upon the programming, do you think all the contents from every word in ink was actually placed in Google as they speak? No. Sometimes there were shortcuts taken, and I'm quite sure there was, because it doesn't give you a full definition. When you look at AI, and you have to ask the younger generation, how do you program this device and what does this mean? We're not ready. We're not ready. But when you go back to the full essence of how one can actually feed the family, plant the seeds, kill the weeds. Because once everybody's eating from farm to table, you've already defeated one concept of what it is that they're trying to do. If they can take your food away, just like they did with the eggs and the chickens today, and they got you paying $7 to $10 almost for a dozen, I'm not saying it's time for you to raise your own, but it's time to look at a whole different profile. And there's a reason why we're in inflation at the present. Because when you look at the gold standard and all the dollars from all around the world is flooding back into the corporate country that we call the United States, then what we have to look at right now is that with the influx of all the dollars, and that's the paper dollars, don't you know paper, rock, and scissors make a difference? Well, the paper was the dollar. It's plummeted by 90%. The rock is the gold standard, enhanced. And the scissors cut the global contracts. So when you got everything flooding back into the country that we rendered out on the expansion thereof, inflation is what you're going to see from up above. And yet we don't know how to deal with it because as the consumers, we're actually looking at, well, what's going on? So you better get underneath this swaying palm tree and learn about the empowerment and the consumption thereof.
Catch a yellow brick, you need to run and tell your clique that the female in town is bringing it. Man, listen, mission impossible. Keep the general like the hospital. Shit, rattle, roll the rock with you. The free to the CISC.
Let's get this thing to work. There's no reason to wait. The time is now to start. We all could use a change.
Do it, get it right. Ain't no doubt, slices gonna turn it. Stay with it and get it right.
Yeah.
Never stop, do the take the time and get it right. Get all up in your back and down your spine. Gotta keep it on track like the A-train line. To the junction, out in Brooklyn, what's your function? Keep you looking once again, time punching those lines like the SP 1200. Precise on the right, what we done did. Top shot it, the party started rocking, and I got first dibs on the dark skin.
And I know just how to make it really nice. There's no mistake to do it till you get it.
Do it, get it right. Ain't no doubt, slices gonna turn it. Stay with it and get it right. Never stop, do the take it to the top.
now. We can make it, we can take it right to the top. Come on, and never stop. Oh, and let's reach for the sky. And if we keep believing, we can never go too high. Right on, give it a try. Come on and keep reaching up. And don't you worry, no, you won't use up your stuff. No way to get enough. Do it till we get it right. And even if it takes some money to play it tonight, we got to do it. Do Stay with it, get it, get it. Oh. Never stop, do the take it to the top. Take no time and get it right. Oh, yeah. Ain't no doubt, precise is gonna turn it. Stay with it and get it right. Never stop, do the take it to the top. Take no time and get it right. How y'all feeling tonight? Better hold on tight, throw your hands in the air if you getting it right. Well, we got your life, but it's not quite your regular jam, Luther and precise. How y'all feeling tonight? Better hold on tight, throw your hands in the air if you getting it right. Well, we got your life, but it's not quite your regular jam, Luther and precise. It's so good to get it. It's so good to get it. Oh, and get it right. Feels so good to get it. Oh, it's so good to get it. Oh, and get it right. It's so good to get it. Ain't no doubt, science is gonna do it. It's so good to get it. Oh, and get it right. Feels so good to get it. Never stop, you can take it to the top. Take the time and get it right. Do it, do it. Ain't no doubt, science is gonna turn it out. Get it right. Never stop, you can take it to the top. Take the time and get it right.
And you got to do that and bring it on back jams, which is to get it right. And just know that when we come before you as a global speaker, podcaster, consider us an outcast because we're going to tell it like nobody else does. And we don't mind because what we're doing is delivering the message with authority. Yes, because we have the integrity to do such, which is the moral quality. And yet when we look at the consciousness therein, there's a state of awareness. But when we bring the voice to the world, we got to stand on the platform of authority. We pay the high price when we don't know. But when we come into our own and we discover what it is that we should be, then we have no discretions when it is that we don't know. But when you find out, it's all a part of you implementing your empowerment within the world. Be that trajectory during this paradigm shift. Doesn't matter where you live, as long as you take the skills that the Most High gave you and implement them into the next generation. Because we all got something to give with the nobility that comes from within. Swaying underneath these palm trees once again. Only at Bring It On Back Jams. And I'm your host tonight, Lady G. And yes, we've talked up a great storm, but you know what? These are things that the people around the world need to understand and come to a great sense of belief. When you go back and do your own research, you'll see. But people want you to give them receipts. But once you give them the information, it's up to them to go back and do the research. The research has already been done by us. That's why we can bring the authority from the voice within. And yet, what we're telling you is we're representing. Because no war goes unnoticed except the one that is for the next generation. And they must have their freedoms just as we have ours. Because in the minds of many, freedom is all that counts. And although we're up against AI, look at how we will actually warrant our next field of freedom, because you're not free as long as you got AI thinking, speaking, and acting for you. So there has to be some other ramification, because they can't resolve the world as long as it's being programmed. You still have to have that human balance. But first and foremost, you have to have that woman, the female, the matriarch, the one who brings the balance to it all. Because let me tell you something, no objection to you fellas. We just know as women, we birthed the universe to the earth. And we appreciate you, WZUKZAUT, for stepping into the studio with us tonight as we're looking at the consumption of self-empowerment all around the globe. And we want to thank all of those that have sat in our live, and especially the ladies that's holding it down. We appreciate you, Lady J and Bran and Lady C, for actually hanging out with us tonight underneath the swaying of the palm trees. We want to continue to thank you, Lizzie White, for the contributions and the support. We then in turn want to thank you, Rico Rock, for the support as well as hanging out with us tonight. And let me tell you something, if you're not hanging out with us underneath the swaying of the palm trees, I don't know where you should be. Because one thing that we'll tell you is that we're doing what it needs to be. And that's giving you live information, conversation, not attitude, people, because that's enough out there in the world. We just want you to be able to ponder over some of the things that we brought to you today, because it's with the authority within. And when you're looking at the consumption of self-empowerment, and most people don't know what that is, well, when you consume a lot of things, you watch television, and within that spirit, we've consumed a lot of those characters. Well, let those characters dispel away from the real you and jump out with some self-empowerment for the next generation. And yes, I speak highly about the next generation because they have a lot to give. But just like someone led you by the hand, that's what they need as well. And when you're looking at being a leader, which demonstrates a mindset to conquer, we all have it within us. And the landscape is the world that we live in, not the ground. Because Mother Earth is taking care of herself, because she's going through convulsions right now. And what she's saying is, hey, I've trusted you all on living within and on me, man. And here's what it is that you've shown me. A lot of devastation. So what she has done and doing at the present is actually cleaning herself. Yes, Mother Earth is saying to Father Time, enough is enough. And so when we look at that and we look at the empowerments within that we have as being human beings, we have to look at it from a mankind's perspective. And that's changing the trajectories, doing the paradigm shift. And that's education, music, because it's not, excuse my language, ain't worth a damn when you turn it on now, because here's what you got, a whole lot of this and that. And if those are the things that they want you to hear, then when will you ever get the opportunity to just listen to something clear? Think about it, because the messages that they give, man, it makes you want to turn the radio off. But sometimes when you have alternatives, like bringing on back JAMS, yes, I'm going to give our own self a plug, because we bring those things in which it is that others just don't. We flip the B-side of the 45 and play the other 9 songs on the CDs that other people just don't play. But one thing that we're part of that paradigm shift today. Yes. And we want to thank all of our listeners out there from all around the world, and regardless of where you are, be it nationwide, statewide, countryside, citywide, north, south, east, or west side, be it oceanside, lakeside, riverside, or seaside, area code or zip code. We want to thank you for hanging out with us here at Bring It On Back Jams. And as we get ready to bring our show to a close, we just want you to know, once again, come and sway with us underneath the palm trees on any given day in between 9 to 11. And yes, we talked our show tonight because today is Talk About It Tuesday. And if you don't get it from us, where else that you might want to get it? Because we're going to bring you the true insight of what it is that we know the world needs to know. Check it out for yourself. And as we open up our umbrella of humanity and get ready to tip on out the door, we're going to leave you with some love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Yes, those are the 5 points on the star, just in case you didn't know. And humanity is underneath the umbrella. One kind, mankind. And if we all work together, we can be of a kind. Extending out harmony and prosperity. And much love to you as we get ready to tip on out the door. And I'm your host tonight, Lady G. Sway with me any night underneath these palm trees. But today is our Talk About It Tuesday. Let's take 1 foot ahead by Avery Sunshine. Got to keep stepping, people. Keep stepping.
Today is the day that I do something I've never done before. Today will be the day that I claim my space in this big old world. No more excuses from me. Oh, I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring. No more procrastinating. No matter what, I'm gonna keep it moving 'cause I made up my mind. I've been broken too long. Not giving in like I did before. Made up my mind. It's time for change. I'm moving on. If I can only see one foot. I can only see one foot. I like it. Today is the day that I step out on faith, just like I know I should. Today is the day that I leave all those things behind me that doing me no good. No more excuses for me. I'm not gonna let anything get in my way. No more procrastinating. Not putting off for tomorrow when I can do this thing. Made up my mind. Not giving it like I did. Not giving it. Made up my mind. It's time for change. On if I can only see one foot. If I can only see one foot. I've been broken too long. Not giving in. No. Made up my mind. It's time for change. On if I can only see one foot. Made up my mind. I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring, but I'm moving on, gonna try something new anyway. I made up my mind. Said we walk by faith and not by sight. So I'm walking home, not what I see.